बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय. Devotees, welcome to the second night of our 6 evenings of devotions to Bhagwan Ganesh, Matang Mahaganapati, in this auspicious time, Ganesh Utsav. Yesterday was Ganesh Jayanti, we worshipped Gajanan, and the journey continues until Sunday evening, here at the Gyandipak. But just to inform that the Utsav itself will be concluding on next Friday, for those of you who want to go for the 10 days, 11 days as we have it. Okay? But because of various circumstances, in SWAHA we normally conclude the first Sunday with all the massive celebrations we have had. But because of the final day falling on the weekend, well, it's Friday, it's difficult for many people to make that sacrifice to go. And because of COVID and so on, various factors, for the last 1 or 2 years we have been doing it in a localized fashion within our temples. So this year it will be the very same thing. And through the grace of the Divine, if next year things become better, then we are going to go back to our common celebration for the Visarjan, that is. And the devotions will take place as usual in various temples, and we will come together as one large family to celebrate next year, hopefully. This is why this year also for Kartik Nahan we are not taking the risk. We want to be sure that things are better and everybody is safe as best as possible. So the devotions are going to continue in the, as I say, localized fashion in our own temples and so on. So devotees, here at the Gyandipak, we have started yesterday and we're going to continue until Sunday. Blessings to all of you who have joined us again this evening, to our devotees online, wherever you may be. It's nice to have you joining together with us. This evening, we begin. We have already worshipped Gajanan Swami. I want to use a stotra, special composition of the sages, to glorify Gajanan. Now it's in Sanskrit, so you will not be able to follow me, but you can in your own minds. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Remember that mantra we explained yesterday? It came from Ganesh Atharva Sirsh. Very powerful. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Recite that in your minds. Om Tat Sat Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Sri Saraswatyai Namaha. At Ganesh Ashtakam. Om Ganapati Parivaram Chauruke Yuraharam Giridhar Varasaram Yogini Chakravaram Bhavabhaya Pariharam Dukha Daridra Duram Ganapati Mabhivande Vakta Tundavataram Akhila Mala Vinasham Panina Hastapasham Kanakagiri Nikasham Surya Kuti Prakasham Bhaja Bhavagiri Nasham Malti Tiravasam Ganapati Mabhivande Manasi Rajahansam Vividha Mani Mayuk hai Shubhanang Bidurahe Kanak Rachita Chitram Kantha Deshe Vichitram Dadhati Vimalaharam Sarvada Yatnasaram Ganapati Mabhivande Vakatum Davataram Durita Gajama Mandang Varining Chaiva Vedam Viritam Akhila Narang Nityamananda Kandam Dadhati Shashi Suvaktam Chankusham Yovishesham Ganapati Mabhivande Sarvada Nanda Kandam Trinayana Yuta Bhale Shubhamani Vishale मुकुट मणिसुढाले मौक्तिकानां च जाले धवल कुसुम माले यश्न शीर्षः सताले गणपतिमभिवन्दे सर्वदा चक्रपाणिं बपुषी महती रूपं पीठम् आदौ सुदीपं तदुपरि रसकोणं यस्य चोर्ध्वं त्रिकोणं गजमितदलपद्मं संस्थितं चारुच्छद्यं गणपतिमभिवन्दे कल्पवृक्षस्य वृन्दे वरद विशदशस्तं दक्षिणं यस्य शिष्टं सदैवमभयदन्तं चिन्तये चित्तसंस्थं शवलकुटिलशून्धं चैकतुण्डं द्वितुण्डं गजपतिमभिवन्दे सर्वदा वक्रतुण्डं कल्पद्रुमाधश्चिते कामधेनुं चिन्तामणिं दक्षिणपाणिशून्धं बिभ्राणम् अत्युद्भुतचित्तरूपं यः पूजयेत् तस्य समस्य सिद्धिः व्यासाष्टकम् इदं पुण्यं गणेशस्तवनन्दनां पठतां दुःखनाशाय विद्यां संशयम् अश्नुते इति श्रीपद्मपुराणे उत्तरखण्डे व्यासविरचितं गणेशाष्टकं सम्पूर्णम् ओम सुमुखश्चैकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लंबोदरश्च विकटो विघ्ननाशो विनायकः धूम्रकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षो भालचन्द्रो गजाननः ओम गणगणपतये नमः शिवतनय वरिष्ठं सर्वकल्याणमूर्तिं परशुदशनकन्धे शोभितं मूरकेन अरुणकुसुममालाभ्यालम्बोजनेत्रं मम हृदयनिवासं श्रीगणेशं नमामि। ओम नमो गणेभ्यो गणपतिभ्यश्च ओ नमो नमो व्रातेभ्यो व्रातपतिभ्यश्च ओ नमो नमो गृत्सेभ्यो गृत्सपतिभ्यश्च ओ नमो नमो विरूपेभ्यो विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च वो नमः। ओम नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमश्चेस्तु लंबोदराय एकदंताय विघ्ननाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमः। शुक्लांबरधरं देवं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ओम अभीप्सितात् सिद्ध्यर्थं पूजितो यः सुरासुरैः सर्वविघ्नहरस्तस्मै गणाधिपतये नमः। एकदन्तं महाकायं लंबोदरं गजाननं विघ्ननाशकरं देवं हे रंबं प्रणमाम्यहम्। ओम गौरी सर्वाकीतकपत्रभंगा माँ कृष्यहस्तेन ददन्मुखाग्रे विघ्नमुहूर्ता कलिद्वितीया दंता प्ररोहो हरतु द्विपास्या। ओम श्री मनमहागणाधिपतये नमः। Holy Sri Gajanan Swami ki. We blend voices together, devotees. As we have mentioned time and again, puja, mansik, vasik, upansu. So we have performed the various offerings ritualistically. And of course, the mind must be applied to what you're doing. So devotees, focus, dive into the spiritual pond. Om Mahaganapati Namostute Matanga Mukh Namostute Shivagirija-sute Namostute Omkarishwar Namostute Om Mahaganapati Namostute Om Mahaganapati Namostute Matanga Mukh Namostute Matanga Mukh Namostute Om Mahaganapati Namostute Om Mahaganapati Namostute Shivagirija-sute Namostute Om Shivagirija-sute Namostute नमोस्तुते ॐ शिवगिरिजासुत नमोस्तुते शिवगिरिजासुत नमोस्तुते ओंकारेश्वर नमोस्तुते ओंकारेश्वर नमोस्तुते ओम महागणपति गणपति नमोस्तुते हे गौरी गणेश उमा महेश शिवनंदन गणपति गणेश ओ गौरी गणेश उमा महेश शिवनंदन गणपति गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश पार्वती नंदन सिद्धि गणेश ओ शिवनंदन गणपति गणेश ओ शरणं गणेश पार्वती नंदन सिद्धि गणेश ओ शरणं गणेश शिवनंदन गणपति गणेश गणपति गणेश हे गणपति गणेश ओ गणपति गणेश ओ गणपति गणेश बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय. Devotees will seek the blessings of Mata. We will do a simple bhajan followed by Kirtanam. You will join me then. Let's visualize Devi. If you can't visualize Parvati Ma, yes. And while we visualize, I want to put something to tickle the intellect a little bit. Yesterday we mentioned, and I'm sure everywhere it has been mentioned, after Bhagwan Shankar, Goddess Parvati got married, then the incidents leading up to Parvati Mata using the dirt from her body to create Lord Ganesh and prepare him and so on and told him to guard the cave. So that we all know. But do you know that when Parvati Ma and Lord Ganesh and Lord Shiva got married, they did Ganesh Puja? So the thinking, you have to ask yourself, if Parvati Mata created Ganesh when they got married, how come Ganesh Puja was done when they were getting married? Where was Ganesh? Who was Ganesh? And the answer is very simple if you remember what we said last night. Who is Ganesh? He is the Supreme Purush. But this visual form, Tvameva Pratyakshang Tattvamasi, that is what he is, but visual manifestation. Tvameva Pratyakshang Brahmasi. You are manifest Brahm, O Gajanan. So, you know, it's good to think. And this is why I say we go beyond the stories. Stories are there to encode certain secrets. We go beyond. Just to reflect. Ganesh has always been here, the concept of Ganesh. Brahm. And Shakti is but an emanation of Brahm. What difference is here between Shakti and Brahm? These are philosophical thoughts reflect upon devotees. But let's come back down a little bit and in a simple devotional way reflect upon Devi Ma. Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharane Trambake Gauri Narayini Namostute Jagadambike Jai Jai Jagajanani Maha Kya मनहर नाम सुहाया है क्या मनहर नाम सुहाया है माँ सब कुछ तेरू चरणों पर मेरे मन कोई भाया है जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी माँ जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी माँ क्या मनहर नाम सुहाया है क्या मनहर नाम सुहाया है माँ सब कुछ तेरू चरणों पर मेरे मन कोई भाया है जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी माँ जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी माँ जय राम तू ही श्री कृष्ण तू ही दुर्गा काली श्री राधा तू हे माँ हे माँ हे माँ श्री राम तू ही श्री कृष्ण तू ही दुर्गा काली श्री राधा तू हे माँ हे माँ हे माँ ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव शंकर में तेरा ही तेजस माया है तेरा ही तेज समाया है जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी माँ जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी माँ जय माँ जय माँ माँ जो पावो तुमसे पावो जो देवे उसमें हर्षावो माँ जो पावो तुमसे पावो माँ जो पावो तुमसे पावो जो देवे उसमें हर्षावो तुमसे पावो जो देवे उसमें हर्षावो कुछ भरे न मेरा अपनापन मैंने सर्वस्व चढ़ाया है जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी माँ क्या मनहर नाम कुछ तेरो चरणों पर मेरे मन कोई भाया है। जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी महा। जगदम्बिके जय जय जग जननी महा। जय माँ जय माँ जय माँ जय माँ। Mata devotees, different manifestations, different forms. We focus on the four main forms: Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kali Ma. Identify. Hey Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kali Jagmata. Jai Jai Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kali Jagmata. एक काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता। एक काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता। जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता। जय श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता। दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता। दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती, दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता। काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता। एक काली जगमाता, काली जगमाता। जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता। जय श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता। जय जय दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती काली जगमाता। बोली सी आज शक्ति जगदम्बा माता की जय। And devotees, to complete our invocation, as we say, we visualize Nataraj, Bhagwan Shankar. When I say Nataraj, I want to visualize him in the dancing form. Dimika dimika dim damuru baje, prema magan, nache bhola, bam bhola shiva bam bhola, bam bhola shiva bam bhola. दिमिक दिम दमरू बाजे, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। दिमिक दिमिक दिम दमरू बाजे, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। बम भोला शिव बम भोला, बम भोला शिव बम भोला। बोलो चंद्र शिर गंगा लहरत अथ भूतन को गोला। बाल चंद्र शिर गंगा लहरत अथ भूतन को गोला। तो दिमिक दिमिक दिम डमरू बाजे, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। बम भोला, बम भोला शिव बम भोला। बोलो। श्रीजी नाद बजावत गावत लपकी रहियो पगली झूला। श्रीजी नाद बजावत गावत लपकी रहियो पगली झूला। तो कदी मदमरू बाजे प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। बम भोला शिव बम भोला, बम भोला शिव बम भोला। नागपनन सो करत आरती देव देव गति अनमोला। नागपनन सो करत आरती देव देव गति अनमोला। तो दिन कदी मदमरू बाजे प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। बम भोला शिव बम भोला, प्रेम मगन नाचत भोला। बम भोला शिव बम भोला। भगवान शंकर devotees dancing a state of ecstasy. Rhythm created. Bhagwan possesses the rhythm of manifestation, the Lord of cycles. Everything is cyclical. We are all caught up in that cycle. Visualize that dance if you can. Become part of it if you can. Dama dama dam dam, dama dama dam dam, dama dama dam dam dam, damru baje, damru baje, damru baje, damru baje. Har Bholanath Shiv damru baje, har Bholanath Shiv damru baje. Dama dama dam, dama dama dam dam, dama dama dam dam dam, damru baje, damru baje, damru baje, damru baje. Har Bholanath Shiv damru baje, har Bholanath Shiv damru baje. Shiva 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 damru baje, bolo bolo hara 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 damru baje, bolo bolo jaya hara Shiva hara damru baje, bolo har Bholanath Shiva damru baje, Bholanath Shiva. Dama dama dam, dama dama dam dam, dama dama dam dam dam, damru baje. घन 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 घंटा बजे बोलो बोलो घन 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 घंटा बजे बोलो बोलो धम 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 धमरू बजे बोलो हे धमरू बजे बोलो अरे घंटा बजे बोलो भोलनाथ शिव डमरू बजे भोलनाथ शिव डमरू बजे दम 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 डमरू बजे डमरू बजे डमरू बजे डमरू बजे अरे भोलनाथ शिव डमरू बजे भोलनाथ शिव डमरू बजे दम 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 डमरू बजे हरे भोलनाथ शिव 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 हे डमरू बजे बोलो हे डमरू बजे बोलो हे डमरू बजे बोलो ओ डमरू बजे बोलो बोलिए शिव उमापति महादेव की devotees. So as I mentioned last night, our mood of the katha will be changed a little bit, and last night we dealt with a sort of philosophical approach to Lord Ganesh, the understanding from a deeper perspective. Now we are going to look at some simple examples of devotees who worshipped, what was their situation in life and what influences they came under. Example is the highest precept. So we learn from examples from scriptures. These examples are here to motivate us, to encourage us to go further in life. And most of these examples that come our way will be of those devotees who found themselves in distress, sankat, problems, all single type nature, and what they did under such circumstances. And we all should realize that this is the story of our lives. Everybody at some point in time will be faced with challenges. And not only one point in time, but many different stages in life, we are faced with challenges. How do we handle these challenges? If you follow what scriptures say, we get the blueprint for success. So devotees, I'm reading from Ganesh Puran. Alright? So here it said, Bhagwan Sri Krishna kahate hai, Bhagwan Sri Krishna relating katha to Yudhishthir. So not too much background, but remember the Mahabharata. We have the 5 Pandavas, Yudhishthir, Arjun, Bhim, Nakul and Sahadev. These 5 were deceived by their cousins, led by Duryodhan, the Kauravas as they were called. These 5 are called the Pandavas, and the others here are called the Kauravas. They were challenged, the Pandavas were, to a game of gambling, dice, and they were cheated. Yudhishthir had one weakness as a Kshatri. He couldn't resist a challenge. Knowing his weakness, Duryodhan challenged him on the advice of Shakuni, who was the uncle of Duryodhan. Challenged Yudhishthir to a game of dice. We will load the dice and we will win all the games. And the idea was that to deprive the Pandavas of their kingdom, which they did. Okay? So that's a different story. That's Mahabharata. The Pandavas were in the forest. And Bhagwan Sri Krishna, a close friend of the Pandavas and related also. So he is relating different episodes to the Pandavas to encourage them, to motivate them. So you see here, in times of distress, we need to get the right type of advice from the right source. Yeah. And which better source is than Bhagwan Sri Krishna? So Bhagwan Sri Krishna कहते हैं कि हे धर्मपुत्र राज युधिष्ठिर, O son of Dharma, Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir is son of Dharma. He is called Dharmaraj. He maintained his Dharma most effectively, but yet he had that weakness, gambling. And the devotees, just to digress for one moment, they said Yudhishthir never lied. He never told a lie. But circumstances at times, during the course of the battle, the Mahabharata, when they were fighting with Dronacharya. Dronacharya had a son whose name was Ashwathama. Dronacharya was very, very powerful. By the way, he was a guru also, but he was on the other side. On the point of duty, they were all fighting. We don't go into details. The only way the advice was given to them by Bhishma Pitamaha that, if there was an elephant called Ashwathama, and Drona's son was also called Ashwathama. The idea was to kill the elephant so that Ashwathama was dead. And tell Dronacharya during the course of the battle, Ashwathama is dead. And he will lose all zeal to live. But that was his son. You lose your son, you lose all zeal to live. So devotees, this plan was carried out. And when we see during the course of the battle, they killed the elephant, and then they told Dronacharya, Ashwathama is dead. Dronacharya began to fight with greater vigor. I'm not going to believe any one of you, he's saying. Not Arjun, not Bhim, not Nakul, not Sahari. He said, if Yudhishthira tell me that Ashwathama is dead, I will accept it. Because why? He never lied. Now, Yudhishthira in a situation, what to do? If we destroy Dronacharya, we have a better chance of winning the war. Many lives would be saved. Should I maintain that truth and because of so many lost in lives? And this is where the Upanishads tell us, rather than speak the truth, you speak that which is best for all. Not for you so much, but best for all. And in Yudhishthira's thinking, that was what he had to do. He didn't say yes, he just shook his head to imply yes. It is said Yudhishthira's chariot was always off the ground flying, so to speak. And from the time he shook his head and conveyed yes, the chariot dropped to the ground. That was the only lie he told. He didn't even say it. But he did it for the benefit of all. But there's a penalty, even though you do it for the benefit of all. So you see, devotees, these are the characters we are talking about in our scriptures. And you have to understand the kind of principles you maintain, the kind of challenges you were faced with. In the face of whatever difficulties, how they stood firm. This is important. This is why last night I said principle is important. Principles underline everything. Okay? So, Yudhishthira, he's called Dharamraj. So a little bit we'll go along and explain. So Bhagwan Sri Krishna is saying, O Dharamputra Raj Yudhishthira, श्री गणेश जी की चरित्रों को महिमा का बखान कौन कर सकता है? यदि शेष नाग भी अपनी 1000 जिह्वाओं से उनके गुणों का गान करे तो यही भी उनका पार नहीं पा सकता। अब उनकी और महिमा तुमसे कहता हूँ, आप एकाग्रचित्त से सुनिए। So he is saying, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, O Yudhishthira, Dharmaputra, I have explained the greatness of Lord Ganesh. This was what he was doing. Explaining the greatness of Lord Ganesh to Yudhishthira in the forest. Okay? So the discussion there wasn't anything otherwise except that divine Ganesh himself, the Lord of obstacles. And he says, who is there, Bhagwan Krishna is saying, who has the capacity to fully expatiate on the glories of Gajanan? Seshnag, that is the serpent according to Hindu mythology, on whose head the earth rests, mythology. 1,000 heads he has, 1,000 tongues. Even he doesn't have the capacity to fully expatiate upon the glories of Gajanan. And devotees, in inner meaning, if you look at Ramayana, we get the same thing in Ramayana. Vah shobha samaja sukha, kahat na vanay khagesh, ka Bhushuntaling Guruji. वह शोभा समाज सुख कहत न बनई खगेश वरनय शारद शेष श्रुति सो रस जान महेश. That when Sri Ram became Raja Ram, he said the magnificence, the splendor, the beauty of that moment, the essence of that moment, who knows it? Saraswati Ma, the goddess of learning, she can't express it. Seshnag, 1,000 tongues, he cannot express it. The only person to know of the substance, the greatness of that moment is Bhagwan Shankar. So what that means, devotees, if you take it in story form, you confuse yourself badly. So all it is telling us, in that case, so I apply that to this circumstance here. Saraswati, learning. pure learning. You can learn the Vedas from beginning to end. You cannot fully expatiate on the glories of God. Say Shnagji 1,000 tongues. You can be blessed with oratory. You can speak as best as possible. That doesn't qualify you to fully expatiate on the glories of God. Incompetence is there. How could you do it? You can't fully expatiate, but you can get the essence. So Rasa Jan Mahesh, Shivaji knows the essence. And Shiva symbolizes dispassion. It is only when a person becomes dispassionate, you withdraw from material things, you can begin to experience the sweetness of these moments. Not otherwise. We talk it only. So devotee, this is what we have to understand here. There is just talking. You know the surface is there, but there is the rus. I keep saying this over and over, the essence. We cannot get the rus, the essence, unless we develop this passion. That's why the worship of Shiva is so crucial. It helps us to withdraw. If I'm caught up in material things, I cannot understand things of a spiritual nature. It won't happen. It doesn't happen. And notice, I have explained the difference between religiousness and spirituality. So devotees, these little statements mean plenty, plenty, if you can understand what they mean. So in other words, I'm saying to all of us, we could say it, but to really get the essence of even Ganesh Katha, you have to have this passion. When they say Ganesh is the son of Shivaji and Parvati Ma, Shivaji Vairagya, Parvati Ma Mumukshutva, the combination of these two will bring Gyan, wisdom, essence. This is where you have to take it, devotees, to make it applicable to your life. The principal point, not story. Okay? So devotees, just I thought I'll mention that. So here, Bhagwan Shri Krishna is saying, Unki aur mahima. Further glories I'm going to explain to you. मैं तुमसे कहता हूँ, I'm going to explain to you. But आप एकाग्र चित्त से सुनिए. So when you see I telling people about the different states of mind, they might get fed up. Why don't stop talking about the mind, 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 mind? Everybody who is relating kathas, we always tell the devotees that 5 mental planes. Murham chiptam, murham vikchiptam, ekagram, niruddham. 5 mental planes we all have, symbolized by Panchmukhi Hanuman Baba. Waving mind, forgetful mind, oscillating mind, one-pointed mind, restrained mind. 5 mental planes we all have. Devotees, most of us, something happens, mind begins to wave, jump all about. We go in depression, forgetful mind. We analyze and try to find reasons which beyond us. But ekagra chit, one-pointed. Here Bhagwan Krishna is saying, oh Yudhishthir, listen, ekagra chit, with your mind focused. Now he didn't say niruddhaman, to withdraw all the senses. Now why he didn't say that? You see, when you listen to scriptures, devotees, you have to ask the questions. This is where you see a different level. Why we say niruddhaman is the high state. Why Bhagwan Krishna didn't tell Yudhishthir niruddhaman? Why ekagrachit? Because niruddhaman implies you have withdrawn the senses from the outside, you're oblivious to the external surroundings. You're shut out from the external world. So if you're shut out, how do you listen to the katha? A simple point. Right? But what you need to do, harness these senses, keep them under control like the cows, but one-pointed, focus on what you're hearing. So when you come to these kind of things, there is a time for ekagrachit, and there is a time for niruddhaman, where you're totally shut out. You see, when you sit down by yourself, you pray, shut out everything, like a tortoise pulling in its limbs, hard shell on the outside, and pray. That time you can do that, niruddhaman. Here, ekagrachitta. You're in a classroom, ekagrachitta. It all depends on where you are. And I can't do it for you, what I keep saying last night. You have to do it for yourself. And this is the power of listening. And we explained that time and again why listening is so powerful. It is tapasya. And I always ask, especially to listen to Haridev, that is more tapasya. So devotees, Bhagwan Sri Krishna is saying, listen, पहले समय में महिष्मति नाम में एक नगर था. Times gone by, there was a city called Mahishmati. Now, all these words would mean something, right? So just look at Mahishmati alone. Mahish, Mahisha. Mahish, stubborn, the buffalo. Mati, intellect. So the city where the intellect was quite stubborn. Now we could analyze stubborn in what sense? Stubborn in that they unwaveringly worship the divine. Or stubborn, they don't want to listen to anybody, they do their own thing. Everything can be taken in different directions. Right? So you don't condemn it. For anytime you're stubborn, you feel bad. It's good to be stubborn, you resist wickedness. But you don't resist goodness. The same stubbornness, you have to know how to use it. It's a world of duality. There's good and bad, as we say, but everything is how we use it. Nothing is bad. It's our usage of it, or abuse of it, as we say. So devotees, Mahishmati. So in other words, there's something good about that city. I wouldn't take it in a negative sense that it's stubborn, and in a bad sense, positive. So he's saying that there is a city called Mahishmati. उस नगर के राजा का नाम नीलध्वज. And so the king of that city, his name was Neeldhwaj. Yeah. Neel, Nal, Neel. Right? So devotees, you have to understand what Neel is and Dhwaj. Dhwaj. So you understand what he represents. And the word Neel means dark. Neel Kamal. Neel Kanj. And that has plenty connotation. We won't go into all that. But it represents depth. And Dhwaj means banner. So the banner of firmness, stubbornness for devotions and depth. In other way, how you could take it, devotees. So much in it. Take it. That was the name of the king Neeldhwaj. जो कि अत्यंत धर्मात्मा और अपनी प्रजा को अपने पुत्रों से भी अधिक प्रेम करता था. So let's put it simply, he was a very righteous king. He was a good person. This is why we are talking about him. A dharma atma. And devotees, these small terms is good to pay attention to. You have dharma atma. What is a dharma atma? Dharma means duty. Dharma is not religion. Dharma. So to put it in this context here, devotees, everybody fits into society in various capacities. A young man, for instance, a young woman, whoever, you're a son, you're a father, you're working in society, you're a friend, you fit into in society in different capacities. In each area of life, there are certain duties, responsibilities, obligations you have. The sum total of all these is your dharma. Dharma I mean praying only. You could pray and you're a bad son. No. You could pray and a bad husband. No. You're a bad wife. No. Praying is not all. Your duty. Right? When Bhagavan says he manifests himself for the sake of dharma, it's not religion. It's for the sake of duty. Principles. Bhagavan formed no religion after his name. Our scripture doesn't say that. Say Ram came, we have no religion after his name. Nor Krishna. Some people form that. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. That's a sect. But devotees, this is Sanatan Dharma. When God manifests, it is to remove adharma, unrighteous behavior, and establish righteousness and duty. So we all must understand that. I could come to pray, I could do whatever if I don't do my duty. In all my spheres of life, I am not a dharmatma. Get that clear. And dharma protects those who maintain dharma. Do your duty, no matter what, how unpleasant, how difficult it might be. He was a dharmatma, meaning he performed his duties efficiently in all capacities. So this tells us a lot about him, dharmatma. So devotees, he was a great individual. Loved his citizens tremendously. A genuine leader. We won't go into leadership. उस राजा के नगर महिष्मतीपुर में एक ब्राह्मण रहता था जिसके एक पुत्र था. So living in that city there was a Brahman, a holy man, who had one son. And what they would do, the Brahman, his son, that child, पुर के गाँव और बच्चे चराया करता था. They would tend to the cows and so on, like Krishna Bhagavan is. So simple life, rustic life, frugal life. They live in basic necessity, simplicity. So this was how they conducted themselves. कुछ काल व्यतीत होने पर दैवी योग से वह ब्राह्मण मृत्यु को प्राप्त हो गया. Nobody lives forever. Nobody. एक दिन हमें भी जाना है. I wouldn't sing the bhajan. Anytime I sing it, we normally kill somebody. So I won't want to die, but I let him die naturally. So devotees, here it is said, the time came, circumstances, Daiva Yoga. Daiva. You see, devotees, these small statements, something why I want a problem with time sometimes, I cannot, neglect these small statements here. Daiva Yoga. What is Daiva? There are three types of pain. Daivik, Daihik and Bhautik. Daiva. What is Daiva? That is something we have no control over. Daihik, Bhautik. Body, environmental. But Daivik, let's look, Daivik tap, like hurricanes, floods all over the world, fires all over the world, drought, so many places, drought, heat waves. Anybody could control these things? Daivik tap, fate, the divine, to put it simply. So in other words, it's what was destined to be. So death comes when the time comes. Daiva Yoga. Can't fight it. What do you do? So everybody has to go one day. So always pay attention to this Daiva. There is that supreme effect. And everything is created by karma, devotees. Karma. So Daiva Yoga, how are you going to fight that? You can fight the Daihik and Bhautik, not Daiva, not Daivik. So Daiva Yoga, वह ब्राह्मण मृत्यु को प्राप्त हो गया. So he died. And devotees, we have seen in many families, when the head of the family dies, what happens to the wife and children? Even that kingdom was so whatever, but many people live in there, yet Daridrata ke karan, poverty. Because the Brahman wouldn't have left much behind, tending to cows and so on, little bit of religious service, what would he leave behind? So his consort, Brahman ki stri, with her son, what they had to do? Bhiksha mang kar laya karti, seeking alms, charity, begging to survive. And they would be taking care of the cows and so on, so as to satisfy their hunger. And devotees, such situation many of us would never be aware of, could even think closely about how it feels, where you do not know where your next meal coming from. And there is nothing you could do. You don't know what to do to get something to eat, your next meal. And man has to eat to live. Isn't that so? So devotees, these two. The Brahman died, but he gone, no trouble again. When you're dead, trouble done, you're free from the body, you're free from all these attachments and so on, you're free. And I just like to say this. When we cry and bawl hard when somebody die, you're crying for the person? You're crying because you lose. You're crying for the person. Person sick, you're glad, they're free from pain. Oh God, they shouldn't leave me and go. You leave you and go. You're crying because of selfishness. All of us behave like that. I lose my father. I lose my mother. I lose my brother. I lose. What did the person lose? We don't think that direction. Essentially, we are all selfish. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying the Brahman could be peaceful. He had to worry about where food coming from. And if you follow how some Sanatan Dharam people follow, he must be eating pinda up to now. Because plenty people, Baba said, put pinda for the soul to come back and eat. Like his soul has eat pinda. That won't go into that stupidity. Alright? Devotees, so just to notice, you see, these are the thoughts that cross my mind when I read. So you get a lot of substance from all different directions. Yeah? You get a clear understanding, then you get the rest, the essence, what scripture is trying to tell us. So devotees, they maintain themselves through hardships. And never forget, I have beaten this thing up over and over, everything is a result of karma. So it is karma also causing that. Right? Karma. Who could change it? They have to change it themselves. But devotees, poverty sometimes, we hold on to our values. Affluence, we tend to lose our values. Most times. Which is what has happened to Trinidad. Values gone down the drain. Since money started to flow more than water. Now it cannot stop flowing. People strangling because the value is not there now. Spirituality dead. That's what is going to happen. Devotees, these two maintain all the principles of good living. The Brahmani, Vaha Brahmani, so the Brahman, Brahmini. Right? You have different ways we say this. Long time when I was in my rebel days, See, if a man is a sadhu, you call his wife Sadwain. Baba Babain. If a man is Saw, you wife him Sawain. You know, I should do that to dig one of the members in the group. You know, but devotee, that is just. Let me go ahead. So this Brahmani devotee, Brahmani, the Brahman's wife, right? She always worships. Sadaiva ही श्री गणेश जी का व्रत और पूजन बड़ी श्रद्धा के सहित किया करती थी. Always worship Gajanan Swami. No matter what poverty, no excuse. Because you know God doesn't need only laddu and thing. Many people say I can't worship Ganesh because I have no laddu. When I say all these things, I'm not attacking people. I'm trying to change our mindset. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. The playing field has been leveled. Based upon where you are, you worship God to suit. Your attitude is what is important. Attitude. So she's poor, begging to eke out existence or living. She had a son to mind, nobody to turn to. But she's worshipping Bhagwan Shankar. And every day, special sacrifices, not just a basic offering. She continued this way, devotees, with firm conviction. Right? And understand what we mean by that. Badi Shraddha. If I don't have that faith, why am I worshipping? Why am I doing anything at all? So this was how she worshipped. So devotees, Brahmani, taking care of her son, they live in a very, very challenging life. But hardships keep us in line. They didn't waver and compromise their principles. No way. Raja Nilध्वज के एक पत्र भी था. The king also had a son. Right? जो कि राज का उत्तराधिकारी था. Well, he was the prince regent to take over after the king died. So what happened? वह ब्राह्मण का बालक सदैव राजा की सभा में जाया करता था. उससे राजा जो अति प्रसन्न रहता थे. इस प्रकार वह अपना समय व्यतीत करते थे. So that child, the king had his child, everything, but the Brahman son, he would frequent the palace. He would go there quite regularly. And so he became like a fixture in the palace. Right? They learned to appreciate him, they keep him there. And because of his mother's blessings, you have to say this. Right? ब्राह्मणी के व्रत के करने से उसके बालक का राज सभा में बहुत ही आदर होने लगा. And it's specially mentioned here because of that sacrifice that his mother was making, that Ganesh Vrat, the blessings went to her child. So in that assembly, the royal assembly, he was highly respected, highly accepted. So I don't have to say it, right? How important parents' prayers could be. Mother in particular, father there and gone, he might be praying from wherever he is. But mother is making all these sacrifices. This is why we say mother is irreplaceable, invaluable. Devotees, so this is why we keep encouraging parents. Don't compromise now. Don't tell the child do something, do it too. Right? And don't do it only set an example. That is one good thing. Do it because it benefits your children. A mother's prayer, I've been telling many people, a mother's prayer could do wonders, devotees. Wonders. And you know, mothers, sometimes I have to digress a little bit, you know, devotees. Somebody, we know this case, mother had one daughter only. Child sick very, very bad. And hanging on there. I won't give details. Child wouldn't leave and go. Right? Mother holding on. And you know, they called me, I said, okay, you know what? The child would go, but you have to let go. The mother has to let go. Right in Mount Hope. I said, go sit down, talk to the child. Don't mind, not loud, in your mind, talk. She'll be hearing everything. She wants to travel. But this mamta holding her back, attachment. Conscientiously say, look, I'm letting you go. You're here with me for a certain time, I'm letting you go. Feel free to go. I'm giving you my permission to go. Now, which mother could do that for a child? But that mother did it. I don't think I could ever do that. I could only talk, you know. The mother sat there and she did that devotee. She came to Guruji, I did it. I was on my way to school. I said, call me, let me know what happened. It's from Mount Hope to Movala until by the time I reached school, they called, Guruji, gone. The mother let go. The mother. Now, this is the power mothers have. And mothers, we keep saying you are so very special. Understand the specialty. And this is why we keep saying nobody should try to hurt mothers in any way whatsoever. It is to your detriment, man. It is to your detriment. And blessed are those who still have the mothers with them. Yes, devotees. I wish my mother was still here so I could do so much more. In my ignorance, I didn't do as much as I could have done. Too busy. Ego, no? Too busy. And then you carry regrets later on. Regrets don't help, no? You have the opportunity, do it. And I want to make one little side statement here again. When a young man is married, the wife must understand that the mother is still the mother now. And, give the fella a chance to do things for his mother also. Not everything for you only. For this is happening in today's world. But you only care for your mother, you care for me, you have a wife. Stupid arguments. Right? You don't realize you're creating problem for yourself. What goes around, comes around. You're going to get it back one day. You're going to get it back. And then don't blame Obia or whatever. Blame yourself. That's why I emphasize so much upon karmas. We create these situations and they come back to haunt us. Nobody gets away. Nobody, devotees. Take my word for it. And my word is based upon what scriptures say. So devotees, mothers pray. This child was highly accepted, respected and so on in that palace. And so, if the child would for some reason stay home, for some reason, they didn't just stay home for nothing and take sick leave and they're sick. Right? The principals would know that. Right? Different scheme now. You stay home to rest and reflect. You go on by the beach and it's too sane. That different kind of thing. We know these kind of things. All that's dishonesty. That is dishonesty. You got to pay the penalty for these things, devotees. This child devotee, for whatever reason he would stay away. The king now, he couldn't rest if that young man wouldn't come to the palace. Whole day be very depressed. This is what attachment causes. And this is the Brahman son. Not to his own son so much. The Brahman son. So devotees, that whole day would pass and then he would try to find out, what is wrong. Like if this boy was a minister self. And all this respect and so on was because of the mother's prayer. But, what was an outcome of all that? This fella didn't pray for all that. It was thrust upon him. So what happened to him? Abhiman. Ego. They can't do it without me. They can't do it without me. The king looking for me. So you understand what happens here? That is a disease that takes our mind. When there's the absence of Ganesh, I believe that I am God's gift to mankind. Remember the story of the coal seller? Coal seller driving a donkey cart selling coals. He had a dog running under the cart. When they stopped to eat, the coal seller, out of compassion, would give the dog a piece of roti first. So the dog would eat it. And after 2-3 times this happening, the dog started thinking to himself. Now, if you don't know how the dog know that, I tell him because it must be myself. The dog started to think, why give me the piece of roti first? Because I pull in the cart. So he swelled up with pride. I pull in the cart. This happens. It happens naturally to people. You get carried away. Yeah? If I don't do this, they depend upon me for this. Better than you. Devotees, one day the dog, the fellow was busy. And he sat down to eat and he forgot to give the dog, Bhagwan, a piece of roti. The dog got vexed. He said, today I'm pulling no cart. Let me see how you can pull the cart. And he swallowed him out like a dog self. He said, only. Coal seller, busy, jump in the cart and drive out donkey cart, gone. Dog remained behind like a dog. Then dog, he said, it's not me pulling the cart, boy. It's not me. And he went back with his tail between his legs like a dog self under the cart. And from that day afterward, they sit down. Anytime the man sit to eat, he'll make, he wants something to eat. Yeah? Abhiman, ego, that destroys us. This happens, devotees, and you can see by attitude. And I could extend that. Abhiman comes because of the unenlightened intellect. That intellect The unenlightened, that are identified with grossness, materialism, that is when you behave like that. Ego, I. Now sometimes you see people going through it. All of us went through that, myself included. So don't feel like putting on anybody. You're getting out of it. It's hard to get out of it. It's a disease. Yeah, keeps us, drags us down. This fellow began to behave differently with that ego devotees, stuffed up with pride, One day, he went to the palace and, in this ego, whatever else, the fellow, by mistake, well, I don't know by mistake or what, I think by mistake, he put on the king's shoes and he gone home with it. When the king get up and looking for his shoes, he can't find his shoes. No, the king could have many shoes, but that was a special one. So he began to think, what causing this? Where the shoes gone? And they believe that this fellow took it. He sent soldiers and they find the king's shoes in the Brahman home. So they charge him for theft. So watch what happens now. So we're going on easy, fast. Watch what happens when there's abhiman. There's no spirituality. Nature conspires to teach you lessons. Understand what I mean when I say nature conspires to help us along in life, whether negative or positive. They arrested the boy and they locked him up for thieving shoes. King's shoes. Gone jail. So that ego now, you can imagine what happened to him there. He thought himself to be indispensable, loved by all, and what? The king said put him in jail. Devotees, the mother. Mothers again. Father's different. Father will say, like, suffer. Mother will say, my son. Right? No, even if they play harsh on the outside, inside melting. We know that. And if you see you have a mother who really against you, boy, God can help you. Believe me. So devotees, this mother began to pray to Lord Ganesh. Sincerely pray to Ganesh Baba to help. But devotees, what added to all that also, that one day in this Abhiman, I didn't mention this, the young man went home while his mother was doing Ganesh Puja. Yeah? And this happens, I could see it happening in front of my eye in many, many homes. Young man come home, he feel big and he's the man in the house. The old lady doing Shiv Puja, picking the flowers, limping here and there, crawling, putting the flowers. Ma, give me food. Mother is your slave. The mother say, Beta, just now, I'm doing puja. Let me finish my puja and I will give you food. But ego, the king respect me, all that in your head now, the attitude, this fella get vexed devotees, and this attitude leads you to do stupidness, to use the word so. You become stupid. What you do? What he did? He took the murti and threw it away. The mother's murti. He threw away everything the mother was doing. All the ingredients and so on. Give me food. He come before Ganesh. He disrespected Gajanan Swami, as many people do in today's world. We have had the case of many people in Hindu homes. Children convert to other religion. That's your right. But what do you do? Pull out his handi and throw it away. Damage your pictures. All these emblems. You're looking for srap. You'll be destroyed. This is happening in our country. Don't tell me it doesn't happen. We know it has happened. And it is still happening. You can go where you want to go. It's your choice. Why are you interfering with my belief? This is the problem. And you in ignorance, you in ego, you have good sense yet. You feel you know everything. Problem backfires. He end up in jail. Disrespecting Gajanan Swami. Disrespecting his mother. Suffering must come, devotees. Yeah? But mother prayed. But I was saying, mother prayed. And when the mother prayed, begging, she went to the king. Then the king felt compassion, sorry, and he said, all right, we'll release him. Because of the prayers of the mother, the sacrifices of the mother. All right? So, जो ब्राह्मणों की भगवान गणेश जी की स्तुति को तो राजा ने उस पर दया करके उसको छोड़ दिया. The prayer saved him. So devotees, yes, when our children in distress and so on, the trouble, they end up in jail and plenty end up in jail. You could pray, you could really, really pray. But if your prayer is sincere and genuine, the only thing is that this is the king here, and in our country, you have a whole different structure. So we don't know how that will work. All right? But pray. Devotees, we shall get away from that, still a learning lesson. But when God against you, things go wrong. One day, he went to a certain spot, the Brahman child, the young man, where the king's son was. And the king's son, rinsing his mouth and, performing ablutions to purify himself and so on and so forth. And by mistake, his mouth wasn't big enough to hold all the water, fly out the mouth, and he fall on the Brahman child head, the young man head. So that Jutha. And then how he take it, he was from this background. From the time this was done, immediate, like something miraculous, this child lost his head fly out from the body, fell somewhere else. Child, like he fell down there dead. What caused this? Everybody around comes and say, aha, is it Brahman who killed the child? Watch how blame comes. Blame. When we say, last time we say, those who worship the Atharvasirish, Mahanadyang, Suryagrahi Mahanadyang, Pratimastanidhau, Mahavignat Pramuchyate, great difficulty, Mahadoshat Pramuchyate, Dosh, people blame you. Yeah? Sometimes genuinely so, and sometimes, falsely. But whatever it is, devotees, now this is what is happening here. Blame. He it is who killed the king's son. So, just now we get locked up for thief and shoes. Now we get locked up for murder. He killed the Brahman. He killed the king's son. Devotees, now the king could pass judgment himself. So all this is happening to this boy now because of the attitude he possessed. Right? Attitude he possessed. So what happened? The king, he called, in those days, they had what they call the chandal. But in today's world we say the hangman. Right? Or somebody that's got all the head and thing. However, they execute people. The executioner is the right word we use. He called the executioner and told him, take this fellow, he is guilty of murder. Because he was there, circumstantial evidence, right? They didn't see the actual act being done. Child was dead, he was there, who else again could have done it? They came to the conclusion. So devotees, murder. Execution took him, and preparation being made to execute him. I don't know how, whether to hang him, cut out the head, poison him, I don't know how. But to execute him, that's the end of him. Devotees, now the Brahmani, she was in this distress now, devotees. Son gone. What to do? And if you think you simulate, you have one son, he's in this situation, your life depends upon this, what you could do, devotees, who could you turn to? Right? You have no privy council in them days. Right? The king himself passed judgment. What to do? Devotees. And there's only one thing we could do. That's why I will just, wrap it up, summarize it simply. Surrender. Unconditionally turn to God. Now, we can't do that when we're happy, You know that? When things good, you point to God. Everything else attracting and distracting you. No go. When trouble, man, you could pray too bad, man. But this woman praying all the time. So it was natural for her to turn to that Bhagavan in all sincerity. And devotees, that devotion, and that dependence, the attitude, important in prayer. This feeling of loneliness, nobody else, I can't turn to anyone. Who else is here? Lord, devotees, think about that, how you feel. This is why sometimes I keep saying, this being alone is a good thing. Good thing. And lonely. When you say you're lonely, people ain't coming around you and so on and so forth, you could turn towards God 100%. And you get that support. You turn to people, they come and they go on again. Turn to God. So even loneliness is a good condition. It depends how we adapt to it. Understand what I'm saying, devotees? So I keep saying, I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. When my Bhagavan is with me all the time, He's in my mind, I don't even think about anything. If you see I'm scared, I feel lonely, I hear the window knock, oh God, look, thief come. Right? You see something shake somewhere, oh God, what? Spirit. You're in hell, day and night. You cause that to yourself. Your loneliness caused it. Don't do yourself that. Devotees, so she prayed. And this is what we need to do. Simple prayer. शरण में आए है हम तुम्हारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान, संभालो बिगड़ी दशा हमारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान. Hey Gajanan, I'm seeking your protective shelter, Lord. Look at my condition. Helpless. No support to turn to accept you. शर्म में अपने रख मुझको, दया में दास हूँ तेरा. तुम्हें तजकर कहा जाऊं गजानन. If you turn me away, where shall I go, Gajanan? To whom else can I turn? This attitude in prayer, devotees. Really surrender. शरण में आए है हम तुम्हारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान, संभालो बिगड़ी दशा हमारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान. शरण में आए है हम तुम्हारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान. ना हमें बल है, ना हमें शक्ति, ना हमें साधन, ना हमें भक्ति, तुम्हारी दर्श की है हम भिखारी, दया करो हे दयालु भगवान. तो हम है बालक, जो तुम गुरु हो तो हम है सेवक, जो तुम हो ठाकुर तो हम पुजारी, दया करो. To surrender, you have to go from a point of weakness, not from a point of strength. Na hum bal hai, na hum shakti. I have no strength, I have no energy, no power. Na hum sadhan, mantrahinam, kriyahinam, bhaktihinam Ganeshwara. Point of weakness is surrendering. But there is only one thing I know, Lord, I want to see you. I need you. If you are the father, I am the child. If you are the guru, I am the disciple. If you are that divine, I am the pujari. I need you, Lord. I need you. No one else. There is no one else I can turn to. And devotees, you know, if you see, this is why I see sometimes problems good. It puts us in a situation we can pray like this. But you know, if people can really pray like this all the time, sit down to pray, just shut out everything and really pray. I am telling you, devotees, it's something totally different. Miracles happen. Miracle did happen. She prayed sincerely. It is Gajanan Swami. He assumed the form of a holy man. And he came to right where she was. And he said to her, when she saw him, the holy man, she prostrated. Help is coming. This holy man, who is he? She didn't know he was Gajanan. right? So he just asked, she was just praying for forgiveness for the life for her son. The Brahman came and he told her, "Oh, Brahmani, your son is sinless." Gajanan, no. The boy didn't do anything really. But you see, all the wickedness he did before, pelting away the murti, hurting his mother, all the abhiman, all these things add up and still creating problem for him. So these things are being burnt out right now. He learned a good lesson. And here Gajanan Swami is saying, he is sinless. He was not guilty of anything. And furthermore, the prince, that Rajkumar, is not dead. I just came from that spot where the prince is there. He's playing around. He's everywhere. That was a Maya. Lord's Maya created it. And this was again I say, nature, I part of Maya, create a circumstance that baffles everybody. You don't see the reality of it. People see he was dead. Gajana knew he wasn't dead. Maya, delusion. And this is what blocks people from seeing the reality. That Maya. Different level. Unenlightened intellect. So devotees, Gajanan Swami as a holy man. And in those days, the holy men were genuine holy men. Now. They wouldn't come to fool you, to take your money and go away. I want to check your patranding. When they speak the truth. There's belief. Because they dare not play the fool. Because the king will destroy them. If that system could come back, 99% gone through. Devotees, the Brahmani said, but oh Holy One, the king, he has to know this. He is the one who has given judgment to my son. Devotees, the Brahman went to the king and said, "Oh king, your son is alive. The Brahman son is sinless. You can't execute him through him." Now devotees, the king was wise. He didn't believe what the Brahman said all of a sudden. He sent messengers to see. And they found the child plain. Normal. They came back and reported to the king, the child is alive, nothing is wrong with him. But everybody, they saw that, judgment was passed. And in a twinkle of an eye, जो तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विश्व को भी अमृत कर दे, पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा, जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे. Preach that, devotee, we sing it. It's not only Krishna Bhagwan or Jai Krishna Hare, because you can say Jai Ganesh Hare too. It's Ganesh, the divine Lord. You have that Shraddha, that Vishwas, that belief, devotees. Look at what happens. Sincere prayer. The king realized that he almost made a terrible mistake by executing a sinless person. Right? A person who is not guilty. Immediately sent instructions to the executioner, who is a good thing, was a little bit lazy. He didn't cut all the fell hair one time. So by the time he reached there, free him. The child was free. The young man was free. In a nick of time, he was saved. Devotees. And so Bhagavan Sri Krishna is saying, "Oh Yudhishthir, through the power of Ganesh Brat, Ganesh sacrifice, look what happened. Therefore you should also perform Ganesh Brat to help you to alleviate all the distresses that you are confronted with." And so devotees, Yudhishthir, he said, oh Krishna, please tell me about how this birth should be done, what to do, how to do it. I definitely will do it to remove all of our distresses. And so the motivation came from Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Yudhishthir was advised how to perform the brat, which many of you are doing in various forms. But there is no loss, there are absolutely no losses in performing Ganesh brat. And devotees, when there is Sankat, last night we started with Sankasht Haran Nashan Stotra. Sankasht Haran. That, to remove all Sankat, all trouble. Ganesh Baba. All obstacles, as we say. This is why this brat is so very important. Ganesh Utsav time is so very important. And you have, you can try it. Put your effort into it. Whatever problems you may have, potentially, you are going to find a result through the grace of Gajanan. Nothing is impossible. Okay? So devotees, just to motivate you and to keep on influencing you, to keep on worshipping. It's not a different God you're worshipping. It's a great concept, an infinite concept that you're worshipping here, tapping into, which is necessary for survival in life. Gajanan Swami. And I keep saying that there is nothing like our Sanatan Dharma, nothing like it, that gives us all these techniques whereby we can help ourselves as we go through life. But if I can't survive, if I don't survive, it all depends upon my choices. Am I lazy? Am I allowing ignorance to pervade my mind? Just want to emphasize again, devotees, you have to do it for you. I can't do it for you. Alright? The child prayed afterwards. He started praying like mad, if you understand what I mean. He get away. And sometimes it takes something like that to get our children in line. But I want to say to the young ones, don't wait for something so then to start the prayer now. Do it now. You can prevent that from happening. Okay? So devotees, Ganesh Baba, Brat, auspicious. And I pray that Ganesh Baba blessings be showered upon all of us that we continue life's journey. Bole Sri Gajanan Swami ki. So devotees will conclude here, make the preparation for the final havan. And we'll do simple kirtan to glorify Gajanan. Sorry, Krishna Bhagwan. I like to glorify Bhagwan Sri Krishna. He is enlightening Yudhishthira and others. So let's glorify Gajanan, devotees, as we prepare for the final havan. केशव नरहरि श्याम गोपाल माधव मुरहरि मुरली गोपाल ओ भजु राधे गोविंद भजु श्याम गोपाल ए भजु राधे गोविंद भजु श्याम गोपाल श्याम गोपाल भजु मुरली गोपाल श्याम गोपाल भजु मुरली गोपाल भजु राधे गोविंद भजु श्याम गोपाल भजु राधे गोविंद भजु श्याम गोपाल केशव नरहरि श्याम गोपाल केशव नरहरि श्याम गोपाल हे माधव मुरहरि मुरली गोपाल माधव मुरहरि मुरली गोपाल हे भजु राधे गोविंद भजु श्याम गोपाल हे श्याम गोपाल भजु मुरली गोपाल श्याम गोपाल भजु मुरली गोपाल हे भजु राधे गोविंद भजु श्याम गोपाल हे भजु राधे गोविंद भजु श्याम गोपाल श्री रंगन कृष्ण देवकी नंदन कमल नयन श्यामल बदन आनंद चंदन कमल नयन श्यामल बदन आनंद चंदन यशोदा नंदन श्रीरंगन कृष्ण देवकी नंदन वेणु विनोदन गोपिका रंजन यशोदा नंदन वेणु विनोदन गोपिका रंजन यशोदनंदन आनंद चंदन यशोदनंदन श्रीरंगन कृष्ण देवकी नंदन कमल नयन श्यामल बदन आनंद चंदन देवकी नंदन यशोदनंदन श्रीरंगन कृष्ण देवकी नंदन श्रीरंगन कृष्ण बोले वृंदावन श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। ओम गंगनपतये नमः स्वाहा। श्री गौरी माता स्वाहा। श्री पृथ्वी माता स्वाहा। श्री पंचलोकपाल देवाय स्वाहा। ओम नमो नारायणाय स्वाहा। ओम नमः शिवाय स्वाहा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय स्वाहा। श्री सूर्यारि नवग्रह देवाय स्वाहा। ब्रह्मग्नये नमः स्वाहा। ओम ह्रीं श्रीं चंडिकायै नमः स्वाहा। ओम क्रीं कालियै नमः स्वाहा। महालक्ष्मी माताभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्रीं ह्रीं सरस्वत्यै स्वाहा। ओम श्री ईश्वरी देवी स्वाहा। ओम श्री परमेश्वरी देवी स्वाहा। ओम श्री शीतला देवी स्वाहा। ओम श्री महाअन्नपूर्णा देवी स्वाहा। ओम ह्रीं षष्ठी देव्यै स्वाहा। ओम श्री दस महाविद्या देवी स्वाहा। सर्वदेवीभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा। श्री हनुमते नमः स्वाहा। सीता रामचंद्राभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा। राधा कृष्णाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री इष्टदेवाय स्वाहा। ओम श्री कुलदेवाय स्वाहा। ओम श्री अष्टान देवाय स्वाहा। ओम श्री ग्राम देवाय स्वाहा। ओम श्री इतर कर्म प्रधान देवाय स्वाहा। 5 times again। श्री वास्तुदेवाय स्वाहा। 33 करोड़ देवताभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा। सर्वदेवता सर्वदेवीभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा। अनंत स्वरूपाय ब्रह्मणे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः स्वाहा। Pick up the western. Wash your hands. Please all stand, devotees. We concentrate on Bhagwan Shankar, दीन दयालु कृपा सागर भक्त वत्सल। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शंभवाय च मयो भवाय च नमः शंकराय च मयस्कराय च शिवाय च शिवतराय च। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम पूर्णमिदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णम् उदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम सर्वं वै पूर्णाग्वं स्वाहा। आचमन। ओम सर्व पापहरं दिव्यं गांगेयं निर्मलं जलम आचमनं च मया दत्तं गृहीतां पुरुषोत्तमः ब्रह्म अग्नये नमः। Bow to the fire. Enjoy. Have you? Yes, Pastor, come back. Devotees, we will join together in Aarti, and our Aarti will be simple as we did last night. Prarthana. Om Jai Jagadish Hari. You know what to do, right? You need bell juna. Om Sajang Chavarti Sangyuktam Vahin Yojitam Maya Deepang Grihan Devese Tailukiti Nirapaham. Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotir Agni Swaha Suryo Jyotir Jyotir Surya Swaha Agnir Varcho Jyoti Varcha Swaha Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Swaha. Om Tat Sat Deepam Samarpayami.
जय जगदीश हरे
Let's do the complete the arti. Let's bend voices together. Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
Ayodhya Basi Shri Ramachandra, Anand Rupa Jai Jai Ram.
Ayodhya Vasi Shri Ramachandra, Ananda Rupa Jai Jai Ram.
Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
Mata Yashoda, Shri Krishna Chandra, Anand Rupa Jai Jai Ram.
Mata Yashoda, Shri Krishna Chandra, Ananda Rupa Jai Jai Ram.
Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
Jai Durga Mata, Jai Durga Mata, Jai Durga Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Durga Mata, Jai Durga Mata, Jai Durga Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Kali Mata, Jai Kali Mata, Jai Kali Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Kali Mata, Jai Kali Mata, Jai Kali Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Lakshmi Mata, Jai Lakshmi Mata, Jai Lakshmi Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Lakshmi Mata, Jai Lakshmi Mata, Jai Lakshmi Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Sharda Mata, Jai Sharda Mata, Jai Sharda Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Sharda Mata, Jai Sharda Mata, Jai Sharda Mata, Jai Jai Ma.
Jai Hanumanta, Jai Hanumanta, Jai Hanumanta, Mahavira.
Jai Hanumanta, Jai Hanumanta, Jai Hanumanta, Mahavira.
Jai Shiva Shankar, Jai Shiva Shankar, Jai Shiva Shankar, Bambhula.
Jai Shiva Shankar, Jai Shiva Shankar, Jai Shiva Shankar, Bambola.
Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Hari Narayana, Jai Ram Ram Ram.
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 Shiva Hare, Shiva Rama Sakhi Prabhu, Tribidh Tap Nivaran He Vibhu. Ajajameshwar Yadav Pahi Mam. Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru Me Varam. Shiva Hare Vijayam Kuru Me Varam. Pratidinam Kushalam Jai Mangalam. Pratidinam Kushalam Jai Mangalam. Mangalam Bhagwan Vishnu Mangalam Garudhvaja Mangalam Pundarikaksha Mangalayatanu Hari. Om Avahanam Na Janami Visarjanam Pujang Chaiva Na Janami Chamyatang Parmeshwara Parmeshwari Gach Gastur Sreshta Swasthani Kun Yatra Brahmadayo Devas Tatra Gachutasana Labhastishang Jayastishang Kutastishang Parajaya Yesham Indi Varsham Hridayastu Janardana. Om Sarveshang Swastir Bhavatu, Sarveshang Shantir Bhavatu, Sarveshang Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasya Dubhag Bhave. Om Mantrihinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Ganeshwara, हे परमेश्वरी, हे सदाशिव, हे जनार्दन, हे कपीश्वर, हे अग्नीश्वर, यत्पूजितं मया देवा, हे देवी परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे। ओम गच्छ त्वं भगवन् अग्ने स्वस्थाने कुन्दमध्यतः हुतम् आदाय देवेभ्यः शीघ्र देहि प्रसीद मे। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम त्वमेव माता च पितः त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम शांति शांति शांति, हरि ओम। बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय, आदिशक्ति जगदम्बा माता की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय, उदयशा जगन्नाथ की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, बोलिए श्री स्वाहा माता की जय, बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की। शुभमस्तु। Blessings to all. Kindly be seated, devotees.
Sitaram, many thanks to you, Guruji, for leading us into devotions tonight. I assure you, your illuminating knowledge and wisdom, devotion and guidance that we are so blessed to divulge in each discourse do not go without practice. Thank you to our spiritual leader, Pandit Umesh Prasad, for his blessings and guidance in preparations for our celebrations. He is under the weather, but we wish him a speedy recovery so that he can soon join us in devotions. Thanks to our audio-visual team for our online broadcasting and for allowing many viewers to get the opportunity to participate in devotions each night with us. Commendations to the Shrotas, Hari and Indra Jaikaran, who sat to perform Havan tonight. And lastly, thank you, our physical audience and viewers online, for your support and joining us in the first night of devotions. Refreshments have been prepared for your convenience and can be collected at the front with your Aarti and Prasad. Do have a safe journey back home, and we look forward to your devoted presence as we continue our devotional journey tomorrow night. Sitaram.
Right, devotees, so we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We receive your Aarti Prasadam, and as Savita wished you all happy journey, safe journey back home. We will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We have Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, complete our Yagya. Keep up your devotion. Now, just one thing to mention, the Murti we consecrated yesterday, whenever you come in, you can feel free to go and make your offerings here, put your flowers, sindoor, whatever. It's up to you. You can go there or you can do it from far, whatever you want to do. There are no restrictions on you. Okay? That Murti will stay there until Sunday when we will resolve it. So keep your journeys going. And all those of you who are doing your worship at home, intensify. Blessings. Yeah, and the bell, really bell.